So Sean, this is your first visit to the mastermind.
Yeah.
What questions do you have?
Tell us about yourself, Sean.
Okay, I've been a realtor. It'll be 20 years in May. Straight up commission.
You got me
guy.
beat by like 4 months, 5 months. August.
Right. Did you start at LNF too?
Yeah,
But in
Damascus.
yeah,
I was there for
in-
3 years and then moved to Remix.
I was in Kentland with all the other crew.
Yep.
And anyway, and I just recently got into, I work at this office. Got into helping grow the office, so kind of like recruiting, training, which is interesting. I've always been watching from afar and learning it from afar. I also work with some investors too, hard money people, things like that. But, you know, I've always been interested in what he's doing because he posts enough. You know? Maybe just enough. Just enough.
Just barely.
But,
Just barely.
no, but I follow that. I'm interested. I want to listen. I don't know what I bring. I bring 2 big ears, that's for sure, to listen and learn. But I don't know. I might have some insight on some things. I've been doing deals for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so the aspect of the creative stuff that goes on in these rooms just makes me go, wow. You know, but I don't have a lot of experience in a lot of that, like those, you know, subject to and stuff like that. All that stuff, so.
I mean, subject to it's a great way to buy property. And it was a super big hot button, which is when the community started, sub 2. And things have kind of slowed down a little bit because it got real popular real quick.
It did.
But then rates shot up. So today your average investor is looking at 6.5 or 7% on a traditional standard
I
loan.
was looking at one the other day that was 8.8.
Yeah, there's plenty of those out there too.
DSCR. Holy shit, that's high.
Yeah, that is high. Versus if we can go talk to somebody who's in trouble, or the complete opposite end. Overall creative works for like the bottom 10% and the top 10%. The bottom 10% because they're in trouble, and the top 10% for
Convenience,
taxes,
taxes.
splitting them up. Because I'm not an attorney, I'm not an accountant, but here's what I know. You can only be taxed on what you collect per year. So just say you have a $200,000 property and you get $100,000 in equity, and the costs are 0 to sell. I'm going to take over your first position loan because it's got a really good rate. It's like 4%. So I'm going to take that over. But now how are you going to get paid on your equity? If you just sell it whole like we normally do as agents, they're getting taxed on that whole extra 100 because that's their profit. The math isn't mathing, but just for hypotheticals.
It's mathing.
Okay. It's not mathing in here, but hypothetically it's working.
I'm following you.
So you got $100,000 in equity. Instead of giving that to you all at one time, we'll make payments. We'll give you a down payment, and then we'll make payments on whatever that extra is. So just say that payment on the first is $500, and you want $500, but we can go rent it for $1,800. We'll do that deal all day long. You're making money because you're not selling it for $200. You're selling it for $200 plus all of the interest you're going to collect over the next 5, 10, 30 years.
Right.
So somebody at the high end would do something like that to avoid paying taxes. Because if they get $100,000 in, they're going to get taxed on $100,000.
Yeah,
Versus if you collect $8,000 a year, you're only taxed on $8,000 a year. Because that's all you're collecting. Everything else is still an unrealized gain.
Right. I get that part. Sorry, this is like novice stuff.
No.
It's always a good refresher because even as many times as we've all done it, I'm still stumbling trying to explain it. So it's making me better anyways.
Same thing, like I've done a ton of real estate deals. It's a 60-page contract. If someone says, you know, they've got an issue with their well, I haven't dealt with an issue with a well in like 2 years. I'm like, wait, I know what to do though, but I don't. But I need to read a couple things, make a couple of calls. You know.
Yep.
You know, operationally, the part I don't, you know, because I've never had that, seen what that looks like on paper. So like, what's that look like operationally? Like, you don't, obviously, it's like, it's a seller financing kind of thing, right?
That situation would be considered a hybrid.
Yeah,
So it's a sub-2 and a seller finance.
yeah.
Yeah, I bought a straight sub 2 out in Tennessee a couple of years ago, and the paperwork was pretty much straightforward on the settlement statement. It said,
Very simple.
you know, amount taking over via subject to, and it was the loan balance. And then it was just all the other charges that came along with it. When it was all said and done, I paid, I think it was $11,500 to buy the property. The majority of that was agent commissions and closing costs.
And the bank's gotta be on that paperwork, right?
Bank doesn't know anything about it.
That's
Because
what I'm asking. How's that?
you're asking about the due on sale clause. You want to take that one?
Yeah, so due on sale clause, essentially the way every mortgage is written is when ownership transferred, the balance of the loan can be called due
But it's not transferred.
upon that.
Can be.
Can be. Doesn't necessarily mean it will be.
Nice.
They have the right to call it due. They don't have the obligation to call it due. And at the end of the day, as long as the bank's getting their money on time, they don't care.
They're not looking.
Especially the big ones. Now you're dealing with a small local bank that can get a little tricky.
Yep.
I have one, my 4-unit in Hagerstown, bought it subject to. Small local bank. Thank God I had a relationship with them. The first payment we made, they looked through and they're like, hey, we know this guy. They call me directly. Hey, we just saw that you made a payment on somebody else's loan. Just froze. Oh, crap. Yeah, no, we partnered with the seller. No more questions.
I'm the asset manager.
Yeah. Right.
I've taken over operations. We're handling
Yep.
things.
And as long as you do, really the big thing, well, it's getting worse now because a lot of banks are institutionalizing AI, and it can find
It's
these
scrubbing a lot of it.
changes. It can scrub, these things a
Yeah.
lot faster and more accurately. But the thing in the past that was getting a lot of people end up was insurance. They weren't doing the insurance paperwork all right. So the lender is getting an updated insurance policy, and they're seeing them, and they're seeing somebody's name who isn't
On the loan.
who isn't on the loan, and the person whose name is on the loan isn't on the paperwork at all. And then they go, what is this? And they start looking into it and see that the deed has changed and everything like that.
So if you give them a reason to look, they're going to go look. Which is why we all use transaction coordinators that have been specifically trained in this to make sure all of the paperwork is in order and it drops at the right time. So the workaround with the insurance is, the way I do it is I add the seller or the mortgage holder as additionally insured. So it's my insurance policy, the bank's covered, and additionally the seller's covered. So as long as the seller's on there, you're good. I just had that come up on a Mr. Cooper loan, which is now Rocket, who is now instituting a lot of AI to scrub a lot of their stuff. That property I'm not too worried about because I'm selling it at the end of the year anyways. That was the first sub-2 deal I ever did. The seller wanted a 5-year balloon. Okay. Shucks.
But there's other things you can do to avoid the due on sale, like a lease option, where or an executory contract, like a land contract. I don't know what they do. in there.
Land contract, executory contract, contract for deed, bond for deed. They are all exactly the same thing. It just depends on where in the country you are as
Yeah,
to what
different states
terminology
call
they
them
use.
different things.
Bond for deed is PA. Contract for deed is most of the country. But it's
Tennessee is land contract.
Ohio, you can do a contract for deed. And they still call it a land contract, so I don't know. But there's different ways to structure your paperwork to make that not even a thing. But one of the reasons why so many people want the deed is because that's who's paying the taxes. So if you're paying the taxes, you want to control the deed. And ultimately, you want to control the deed anyways because you want to control the deed.
Yeah.
But you don't have to. So if you do get called, workarounds around it, deed it back to the owner, and do it as a contract for deed or a land contract.
But those come with their own risks, like
Yes.
depending on what the owner's situation is. What if you do that and 2 years down the line they file for bankruptcy? Then what? Right,
That's a
because
great
you
question.
don't technically have the deed at that point in time.
Right.
But you do at least have a contract saying that, hey, once you fulfill the contract, you can purchase the property. But if 2 years down the line, something like that happens and you're not in a place where you can fulfill that contract,
Right.
then what happens?
I'm
But
dealing
you
with
also run the risk if you do a straight sub 2 and due on sale is called, and then you go over to, an executory contract. Now you're running, there's risk regardless of how you do it.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of how you best navigate it.
It's no different than any other investment. There's always going to be risks. And no different than if you do a traditional bank loan with your 20 to 25% down and do everything that we as agents are used to doing.
Yeah.
There can still be plenty of things that go wrong. And
Depending
so,
on a person and what they do.
Correct.
They're gonna do a lot, not just a property.
correct. So in the sub 2 world, before interest rates shot up and even after, the key was that interest rate was more of an asset than the property itself.
Absolutely.
Because as a buy and hold investor, we're looking for cash flow. The equity is a factor, yes, but it's not a big factor.
Get it.
Because I personally don't ever plan on selling anything. Unless it's, the newest term I heard was alligator. If it's a problem property, then, trim some fat.
So I get it that the market for like people in trouble probably is flooded probably.
Well, yeah, and now on the flip side of that, the people in trouble, job loss, military, job transfer.
Any financial?
But,
Financial,
but this is why
you know.
deals aren't working these days, because those people in trouble have 6.5%, 7% mortgages, and if you are to buy them sub 2, they don't cash flow
Right.
as a rental. So
Right.
then it's, what else can you potentially do with it to make money?
So, yeah, right, I meant also on the low end, there's lots of competition for people looking for people in trouble, right?
Mhm.
But on the high, I never heard about that high end, but the high end is, that's pretty cool.
The high end you could probably benefit more from than the low end.
Yeah.
With
Has that
just
always been the thing? Sorry to interrupt, has
Yeah.
that always been a target or just became more of a target lately?
sub 2's
For
been
lack of a
around
better word,
since sub 2's been around since Jesus.
Right.
It became popular in the last 5-10 years.
On the high end too?
Oh,
Both?
yeah,
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, by the way.
because you're not necessarily getting out of the taxes, but just say I'm a doctor and I'm
Creative.
selling this. Okay, well, I can write off my income from my lending on the seller finance note versus I can make some of my W-2 income disappear because of that. So now I'm paying less taxes and I'm making more money.
Yeah, all I can think about is how to sell that, and I'm like, I could sell that.
Well, I mean,
You could absolutely sell that.
You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
I'm
but
like,
the other
it's
thing is
it's
that
not
the
even
top-
selling it
coach
though.
me
It's
up,
just
put me in, I'm ready.
Well, the other thing
Yeah.
about it is the top 10%, right? They're usually in a position where, like, they don't, for a normal person, they're like, hey, this is my most valuable asset, and I have a lot of money tied up into this. Let's say $500,000 because they bought a house 20 years ago. And they're like, oh, well, I'm going to go buy another house. I need to sell this one because I want the cash because I'm going to go buy my retirement home in cash or something like that.
Yeah.
For the top 10% of, earners in the country, they necessarily don't need that money. They're looking at it from a tax gain. They're looking at it from oh, well, if I hold the note for this for 7 years, I can make $250,000 more. Yeah, that makes sense to me, right? I can do that. I don't need that money right now, necessarily for something. They're like, I just need out of this situation, and you're giving me an option to do that to where I make more money in the long run. Perfect. I'll do it.
my favorite way recently is
And they're very fast transactions, too.
2 weeks you're done. Basically title work. That's
Yeah.
it.
You don't need contingencies, maybe other than like an inspection, because there's no new loan. You don't need an appraisal. You don't need any of that stuff.
Nope. It's just what everybody can agree to.
Yeah.
My favorite way is now the stacked method or Mori method, or there's like 8 new names for it now. But all it is I'm going to go get a loan for 50 to 75%, and then I'm going to get a seller carry for that 25 to 50% in a second. Now I got 100% financing like we used to be able to do prior to '08. So, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I'll give you 5% down, Or you know what, I'll give you 75% down, the last multi-deal I just bought. I'll go get a loan for 75%, you carry 25%. I close the first leg, that deal's done. Come back a week later, put the seller into second position. So I either have to have the cash to close on the first one, or go to what's called a short-term gator lender,
Bridge loan.
bridge loan, transactional lender. Hey, Sean, I need to borrow 50 grand to close this deal. I'll pay you 5 grand to use 50, and your money never leaves title.
You'll have it back in 48 hours.
48 to 72. So then I close the first leg. Then we go back to title. Sign the second note. I get my cash back if it's my own cash, or you get your cash back plus whatever fee you were charging for it. Or let me borrow your 50 grand for 30, 2 days, 3 days. And now I just bought a multifamily building with zero money outside of closing costs and renovations.
And veto for a little
Yeah, and Vito for a little bit.
bit. Yeah. Veto hooked you up for that.
Yeah, Vito totally got me covered.
You know what I mean?
So I just closed a deal 3 weeks ago in Tennessee that was a similar structure. There just wasn't a seller carry. So seller and I agreed on a price of 170 for a duplex, and I knew it was going to probably appraise for about 220 to 235. So we put it on our contract for 230, and I told the seller, I was like, hey, this is how we're going to do it. We're going to put on our contract for 230. When it's all said and done, you're going to get your 170 minus commissions, because they agreed to pay commissions. They're like, as long as I get my money, I don't really care. I was like, okay, cool. So lender sends out an appraisal, or appraisal comes back at 230. So lender said, okay, we'll bring 80%, so that's 184,000. So the seller got their 170, the other 14K went to closing costs and lender costs and everything like that. When it was all said and done, it cost me $4,600 out of pocket to buy the property. And then everything from the 184 to the 230, essentially my down payment, in the settlement statement, whatever funds were left over go into a new escrow account. And so the transaction closed, that money went into a new escrow account with the title company, and the instructions for that escrow account where whatever funds remain in it come back to me in full. So I had all of my money minus $4,600 back to me in about 48 hours. And then essentially use the down payment to do the renovation on the property. And when it's all said and done, that'll be probably a $300,000 plus property.
When I just heard this week, actually, instead of, it's essentially a BRRRR, but you go get hard money, but you get it for everything, renovations, the whole nine. So go through, do all of that to buy the property, renovate it, and then when you refinance, instead of doing a cash out, you're doing a rate and term.
Mm-hmm.
The rates are a hell of a lot better on a rate and term than
Straight hard.
than straight straight cash out refi, because it's less risk. So he's getting all of his money up front and then doing a rate and term that lender's paid back. The renovation costs are already built in and already paid for, and now he's getting a better rate, so now his cash flow just went up.
Yeah, there's a couple like hard money lenders that do that just in the one package. So.
Well, there will be institutional lenders that will do that. They'll be like, hey, we'll do a hard money up front, and then when it's done, we'll just rate and term refinance you into something longer.
Mm-hmm. So essentially with creative real estate, if you can think it up and get a lawyer's stamp of approval, you can make the deal work.
Yeah, it's getting that lawyer stamp of approval.
And that's why I have so many lawyers, because if one says no, I just go to the right one. Got to keep going down the line until the next one's like, yeah, we can make this.
We had to redo our LOIs because of that in Georgia, because we're like, hey, if we're going to do this, this is going to be the closing attorney and escrow company and everything like that that's going to be used. And if the seller's like, no, I want to use mine, then we're like, then we're out.
Right. We have this structured perfectly to make sure there are no issues, and we've done this more than once. Smart
Was
play.
he still buying for co-living? Like single family for co-living? They just passed that FinCEN rule early this month. Did you see that?
Which one?
where I think it's like basically trying to stop institutional buyers or big buyers.
Yeah, they just passed the one, but it's like
He's got-
institutional buyers that own more than like 350 properties or something like that.
I think I heard with the new FinCEN rule as of March, I think. I'll look it up, but you had to report ownership, the BOI stuff they were talking about before. But it's only for residential from what I understand.
Fine.
So,
I'm not worried about it.
I'm really not worried about it. I don't have LLCs.
well, it also works on trust, I think, too, from what I heard. So look it up. I don't know the whole.
I'll double check it.
I have no desire to own 350 properties, so.
I think it's on all residential starting March, from what I understand. Again,
That's fine.
I don't buy residential anymore, so.
What are you buying now?
I'm trying to get into more business buying, so like doing the automations, and then what I was talking to some people, I was at Hector's meetup like last month, he wasn't there, but there was another sub-2 student that was in there, she's working on the zero down with somebody else in zero down, which is another.
Which is another arm of.
At this point now, I just found out, right?
Pace has like 15 different
20
arms.
20 grand for that one, I believe someone told me, but anyways, yeah, so just basically doing like AI operations and stuff, like I've been, texting you things.
Yeah.
Just using that with a lot of go high level, and then what I'm gonna end up doing is like, you talk about buying businesses too, I know, is getting into that, I actually talked to Olu about this, where
He's
like,
running
we'll set
all
up
my
your
shit.
systems, receptionists, chatbots, whatever that is,
Mhm.
and then look into the business, and if I like the business, I just do it for equity, for a percentage of equity, and then maintain it, and then what I'm thinking is, in 2-3 years, say it's an older,
Right.
person that wants to retire, the kids don't want it, it's like, hey,
Hey, we're already partners.
you've already seen what I've done, and I'm basically hitting metrics like every 3 months, 6 months, we're
Mhm.
growing at whatever percentage, I'm hitting it. I already know the business. Your kids don't want it.
Right.
I'm interested.
Seller finance it to me.
Exactly.
That's beautiful.
So
So
that's kinda
basically
like,
earning your way into equity and then ownership.
yeah,
I love
because
that.
you build trust, right? That's the hardest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. Let me step up.
I know the business now. I've been in with you. I've been your partner in essence. Like
Mhm.
I'll buy it from you and seller finance it to me. Why not?
That's awesome. I
That's
like
my,
that.
That's my.
I mean, yeah, it's a push pull.
Yeah.
But it's also, if you're getting a good return on it and it's worth it, then do it.
It's
I have no desire to do real estate as a business.
right.
So I don't even go down that road.
Nope.
Like, people want to know, so I'll point you to
Yeah.
stuff. Be like, yeah,
I can connect
here's
you
a
to
bunch of
whatever you
podcasts
need.
I was on. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and that's smart. But chasing the monetization on social, it's great, but it's pennies. Like I'm never going to retire off of that. I'm not Mr. Beast or Hermosi or Gary Vee or anything like that. But neither were they when they started. So
never know.
it might happen, it may not. But I do it more just to be in front of everybody. Like, hey, wow, Chris does retail, he does investments, he does contracting. I have this project, I might call him. And that's how I'm monetizing off of it, is it brings in business, which at the end of the day, that's what I want anyways.
Credibility too, right? Like
Yes, affirmation, proof of concept, like my fix and list program, helping people flip their own house. That makes the phone ring. More or less just out of curiosity, out of anything. Like, what is this? You help people flip their own house? Yeah. Flip it and sell it, hell, we can just come to a renovation after you buy it. I have one that we're getting ready to start that's going to be a property management rental.
I mean, same thing. Like it's just another way of.
It's just another way to
Just
market and
other
monetize.
ways You can pay for ads.
I can pay for ads, I can do print media,
Yeah.
which doesn't work.
Yeah.
20 years ago, it worked amazing because that was all there was.
Yeah, I mean,
But that was the-
Facebook ads. Funny as it is, I've heard because I was on a call. Someone's like, "Dude, Facebook ads when it first came out was so cheap and easy, and it was like everything was there. Now it's like 5x the price of what it was before at certain different markets." But
So, the funny thing about that, about like meta advertising and stuff like that, is that if you go in and you're like, oh, I'll spend $100 a day, which is a lot for most people. But you go in and you're like, oh, I'll spend $100 a day on marketing. It's like, cool. It's going to cast a wide net and it's going to go out and it's going to refine over time. If you go in and you actually spend a little bit of money, like $5 a day or something like that, it hyper focuses, the algorithm does, on success so that you will then spend more. Whereas if you just go in right away and spend a bunch, it'll be like, okay, we'll go to work.
Yeah.
But if you spend a little, they're like, oh, we got to work hard.
We got to entice
that
this person to.
We got to increase the success so that you will then go in and spend more.
Yeah, I don't know enough about it. But I was watching something, they were talking about how Facebook ads, whatever that was when it came out, it's the same thing with the ChatGPT ads that are coming out soon. So it's like for people that are running ads, spending money on that. It's like interesting.
Yep.
It was more for me to learn. I was like, I don't do ads, so I don't expect to.
I don't pay for ads either.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't pay for ads. I don't pay for leads.
Yeah.
That's why I like working with agents. They are my marketing.
I'm focusing on a new market now. I'm studying it, learning it, and I'm not even trying to chase off market. I'm just going straight to an agent, and if I can, I'm probably gonna have to write the same amount of deals to get one, whether it's on or off market. But so what? I don't care if it's on or off market. And for so long, I had stuck in my head, it's got to be off market. It can't be a deal if it's not this, that, or the other. Well, in the markets I'm looking, if it's been sitting on the market for 90, 120 days,
Yeah, there's a deal somewhere.
there's a deal somewhere in there. It may
Like the
not
one
be.
we're going to look at today. That's been almost 6 months.
Yeah.
With no.
Yeah, so when we
traction
leave
on
here,
it
he and I are
whatsoever.
going house shopping.
Nice.
So it's, it's find the market, study it, build your buy box, build your team, and then attack. For so long, my ADD got in my way. It was like, and shiny objects. Yeah,
It's everybody though.
it 100%. But I was buying everything. I was lending on anything, and I'm still licking my wounds from that.
So am I, man.
Because it was like, hey, take massive action. I took massive action, and I learned a lot of the wrong things to do the wrong way.
That's before all
And
the
I'm-
safety course stuff came out.
Yeah,
That's when the safety course started.
that's when
coming
they
out.
started coming out. Because I was
That's the
like,
reason why we
hey,
have it now.
I made money on my first deal, but then lost money on my next 5. So
Punches, I guess.
I have definitely earned my stripes.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Because as it was Monday,
Both fine.
He and I are now partnering up when I travel. He's gonna be my guy.
So,
Because the partner I had retired. And I bought her out. But she's not here anymore to help.
yeah,
So Sean's my guy.
but I will call you, but I'll also undoubtedly run into some things. So,
Yeah, you're gonna come across something.
um,
It might be tomorrow, it might not be for a year. We don't know.
don't bet against
Real
me.
estate's not gonna go away.
Oh, gosh, so.
Let me see Sean's odds on Calshan. Will Sean do a creative finance deal in 2026? What's that?
Don't bet against it.
You got 8.5 months.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
You get more leads
You know,
to
but-
come in. Start with leads. Just get a bunch of leads and then
Yeah.
again.
But on the realtor side, when I first started doing this, and I was trying to build relationships with realtors, I'd be like, yeah, it's creative. I was like, but it's a way to get the deal done. You still get paid your full commission one way or another, whether I'm paying it, whether they're paying it, whether there's a down payment or not, you're still going to get paid, in one way or the other. Like the very first creative deal I bought sub 2. I actually told the agent because it was on the market for 160. I bought it sub 2 with a loan balance of like 136 or something like that. And I said, okay, what does the seller want to do with the equity up to the 160? She was like, oh, she doesn't want anything. She said, just take over the loan payments. I was like, perfect. I'll take over the loan payments. I was like, hey.
What a great suggestion.
Yeah, I was like, hey.
Okay,
And I
sweet.
said, go ahead and calculate your full commission at the 160, and that's what I'll pay you for a commission. Because I was essentially buying into equity.
Yeah.
So I was like, now that it's going to cost me less to buy it, I was like, I'm going to pay you more.
To win all the way around.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Like it's, the reason why it's got me so tingly is because I hate to lose.
Mhm.
So it can't all be about the wins.
Oh, you're
but it's
definitely built
but
for
it's
it.
a lot of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you know, you can't wake up, doing what I do, can't wake up every day and counting like commissions and stuff. Like
Oh,
that.
and if you, yeah, and
It's
if
really
you're
about just wake up and go win for somebody, and you win it for yourself. You know what I mean? That's kind of how.
if you're
Drive.
representing a seller and you put in a listing right up front, seller finance available, that is going to become your most popular listing within 24 hours. Because everyone's going to want to know, investors and buyers, like, hey, what is it? What's going on?
As long as it's not 20-25% down.
Right.
But even then, potentially for the right person, it could be.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, it's 20% down, which a lot of people still think that you have to pay 20% down to buy a property, even though you really don't.
No.
But they think that, and so they save up money for a 20% down payment, you know, or someone's about to get married and daddy's got 20 or 25% for a down payment. And it's like, oh, I can do 20% down and take over a loan that's at 3.5%. Worth it for the 20%
Yeah,
down.
no brainer.
Yeah. And they don't have to go and do a full loan application or, you know, get their credit pulled or anything like that. Yeah. I did 20% down for a 0% seller finance deal. Every single day.
It's worth its weight in gold.
Yeah.
I'll take 0%.
Overpaid, paid 20% down, but it was worth it.
And you made that back in the first 6 to 12 months.
Oh yeah, 12 months, yeah. Within 12 months, my acquisition and renovation costs were covered just in equity.
And that's what I know Sean watches a ton of my videos. When I say infinite return, once you have whatever money you put out back, now you're using other people's money for everything, so you don't have anything tied to it. Okay, sweet.
That's where you want to get.
Yeah.
All right.
Drinking from a fire hose.
Yeah. But I appreciate you guys. That was awesome.
Of course, man.
That's
Glad you
awesome.
could finally make it over.
Yeah. I've got to get my feet back under me, and then go talk to some people.
I'm running the bathroom, head out, and then you guys make it going. So it's good seeing you.
Yeah,
guys.
I'm gonna go show Wes some
Yeah, you
houses.
too, Tech.
Good luck with that
Good to
house.
meet you, man.
Thanks.
Zach, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for coming out.
Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
You too. Oh, there she is, Michelle.
Yeah, Michelle.